I hitter Peter Giddy Frazier. I saw a video on YouTube titled, quote, "Does cyclists think they're above the law and does it even matter?" unquote. This is a partial response. Athens versus Sparta, social relativism versus human being, sociopathy versus empathy, misogyny versus feminism. Computer culture is an aspect of Athens and makes social relativism worse. It creates autistic culture, a culture that really isn't a culture of human being. Culture has been fractured by disease. The etiology of disease is the corruption of virtue, the embrace of Machiavellianism, resulting in trespass, rape, etc. In that world, a fallen world, the judiciary becomes a Machiavellian's tool, and its determinations do not advance morality. Hundreds of years of human precedent, Magna Carta, etc., is divorced from government. And that human precedent is all it ever had in terms of being relevant in a greater context. Yet secularism is to be upheld, thus, even with human precedents maintained, government is not a path towards the restored order of Eve. Order, true order, then comes from individual contemplation and consideration, an attempt to empathize with Eve. It's really sad as to what rapists did to my world. They never knew of what they destroyed. They didn't and don't have the capacity. I have a bike, I am a cyclist, and I am different. Cycling is a resource that decommissions Sumerian influence, an influence pervaded by the precepts of Hadean culture, weak low hell less than isolated from life, an ambiguous bank on the near side of the Styx, life requiring Hadean nobility yet finding none, that which subjugates the host to the will of disease. Sometimes there are rubbing points of displeasure as those requiring discrimination are ostentatiously, intolerably subject to a world that requires contamination to continue on. A noble life is no life at all, the definition of disease. Actions profane are the opposite of insane. Virtue is life in Athens. Safety is ability, and ability is never achieved through an Athenian majority. The origin of being is the self, a singularity seeing, and the singularity's memory of seeing. Virulent infraction against the self is the age-old Hadean ploy, the work of Adam, to be relevant in the life of Eve. COVID-19 is a disease. Something like an Irish baton is what I demand, the antithesis of the Pope and his Vatican land. All this an aspect articulated. Emigration from evidence of being, emissaries not yet of the Black Hand, the work of which is hopefully not worth seeing. Does any given Sumerian Athenian see, and if so, does he or she see that an aggregation of perspective, a majority, is the entity of affirmation? Does he or she see that this always creates a subhuman perspective that is summer being?